Today, I'm going to show you how to write a 3-minute song from absolutely nothing, and I'm going to be using this little guy to do everything. Let's go. We're going to talk about the QC Mini and dial some tones in just a second, but I'm just going to show you the setup I've got going for now, how I've got it all wired up to Logic and stuff. So I'll just show you on this camera. So right now it's just plugged in and I'm just using these two XLR outs at the back, and it's got a USB-C out to my computer as well. Obviously I've got my guitar plugged in. I'm going to build some presets on this from scratch. So we're going to do that now using Quad Cortex control, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that as well. Yo guys, Editing Connor here. I just wanted to jump in and highlight some of the differences between the Mini and the main quad, because I realized in my video I got a bit excited with writing a song and kind of forgot to highlight. So obviously on the Mini there's a few less physical pedals than the main quad, but honestly other than that there's not too many differences between the two. I'm going to leave links to Neural's official videos on all of those juicy specs that you know you want to find out. If you want to go and watch their videos, description, mate. All right, back to the video. See you in a bit. So before we dive into any of the tones or anything, how do you even like write a song? You know, where do you start, right? So I have an idea. I came up with this idea when I was driving to the gym. So always have, as Rick Rubin says, always have your antennas receiving information. So I was just hearing this like boom, dum, 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 dum thing. I don't know if you can hear. I'll play a little bit of it, but God, I'm not going to play it all. I'm gonna listen to that on my own. If you've got an idea, it could just be the skeleton. So we're gonna get the skeleton down. We're gonna work very roughly first. I'm gonna dial in some tones. They might not be bang on first, but we just need to get everything from that voice memo into what is in front of me in Logic, because right now it is completely empty, completely overwhelming, and we've got to make a dent somehow. So we're gonna get going on that. And whilst we're doing that, I'm gonna talk you through the QC Mini and how sick it actually is. So let's go. Cool, so here we are with Cortex Control. What I'm gonna do is, yeah, let's just build like a tone that I can track like a sketch sort of take with. The whole point of this, the first step to writing like a bigger song is to work roughly. And what I mean by that is to just literally get the most basic form of what you're trying to say down. And you can play around with the structure, you can work the detail and the complexity and afterwards. But the first thing you want to do is that. So let's just like build a real basic tone using the new QC Mini. This is so sick. All right, let's do this. I love using Cortex Control because like Logic's here, this is here, it kind of just feels like I'm using a plugin. I really love this workflow. It's right here on my desk. I could use the screen happily. The thing I love about the new QC Mini is the screen was always my favorite part of the big QC. So the fact that like that is here in its full flagship form, I didn't even say, but the QC Mini can literally do everything that the main quad can do. So you're not even losing out on any functionality. This thing's definitely coming with me on some clinic tours in the future. I can promise you that. So first things first, let's get a basic tone going. So right now, I've literally just got good old DI. So one of my favorite amps right now is a Nolly Crunch. I'm gonna make all these presets that I make available. I'm going to use a custom IR that I love, but for all the presets that will be available, I'll swap it out to a really similar one that comes with the QC. Okay, so now you know, I might just throw the wow pedal in front of this. I like the compressor in the Pliny. The Zool, where is he? There he is. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna save this for now. What I'm gonna do now is I can remember my voice memo pretty much from start to finish. There might be some intricacies, like I might want a riff as like a really tricky riff as like a bridge. I know that I'm gonna have a little bridge. I don't know what I'm gonna do just yet. All the complexity I can work out afterwards. It's no stress. We're just gonna get this down. Think of an artist, right? Doing a massive painting. You're not just gonna start in a corner and paint like the most fine detail little log cabin, are you? You're gonna like sketch out the entire landscape and then start to work in the detail. So I don't know why sometimes we often think like, ooh, I'm gonna spend ages on the intro and then get paralyzed because I don't know what to do afterwards. Try this method and then see how you get on. So we're literally just gonna start tracking. Some people might be asking like, why wouldn't I use the QC Mini as an interface? I'm gonna be using the QC Mini as an interface later in this video because I'm gonna be using it as a bit of outboard gear. So yeah, all right, here we go. All right, so now in the space of like, what is this, 23 minutes, you essentially have got an entire song structure. Obviously, there's a lot of work to do, but this makes even me, as I'm filming this, you know, a lot better than when I sat down 23 minutes ago, because I didn't have anything. Blank slate syndrome, no clue, no idea, no prospects, and no hope. So now I have a little bit of all of those things. We're not there yet, obviously, we're a million miles away. You can decide what you want to do now. Divide and conquer, build complexity, or you can continue the rough sketch. Now, I might do that and sort of get some basic drums in. That's actually pushing me forward. That sounds insane. I really like that tone, actually. What I might do is just sketch out the general mix. Say general like that, because you just want to get like your gain stage and your levels somewhat thereabouts. So I mixed these drums yesterday, so I know that they're hitting my mix bus compressor correctly. So as I've always said, and I will always continue to say until I change my mind, get your drums right first in terms of gain stage and levels and how they're hitting each level of compression until your master bus. Then you can add everything else and balance everything else based off the volume of the drums. So that's always a good reference point, because that kick and snare needs to be hitting that mix bus in a very specific way, at least the sound that I want. Oh yeah, real quick, for drums, I'm using the downbeat, but I have kind of got like a mixture of things going on. So I'm not using the master bus, I'm sending these out to individual tracks like this. And then I've mainly worked on the kick and the snare. So that's just like intro drums sorted for now. I've just thrown a delay in front of the amp. Go back to the rhythm, and then like, I think I'm just gonna do like a different tail here. Oh, geez. All right. Day 2. I think what happened yesterday was like I had a number of different ideas where I sort of had them like half baked and I wasn't really sure what was going on. But I think as soon as I did this, as soon as I did that little run, I was like, oh, I can't do that next section that I was gonna do. I'm gonna have to change it up and come up with a riff. So figuring all that out took a minute, but now that we're in this position, we've got an absolutely sick riff that I'm really happy with. I'm using what I like to call my like development process where I will take one simple idea. In this case, it's the little chord progression that goes boom, 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 boom. Those 5 notes, and then the 6 notes again. But taking that idea and really playing with it. So essentially, it's the same thing for the intro. This riff is built on the same idea, just a little bit more developed. And then we're going to go back to a more stripped back and ambient version of the intro. And this is all about how you develop a single idea, how you really sort of, I don't know, push it to its limits and be more economic with it rather than just 8 bars and then 8 bars that follows are completely unrelated. That's cool and can have a place. I know that bands do it and they can do it very well. Maybe there's often other musical devices that are tying everything together. I'm gonna give this thing another spin and see what we're sounding like. So I'm gonna have like a melody here, I think, in the gaps. All right, got some more coffee. I made a few changes off camera, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna figure out this new chorus now, essentially. And then we have like all of the pieces apart from like the outro riff. So then we've got this chorus, which is just real simple at the moment. And then go back to that, we'll go back to this. All right, cool, so let's get this chorus track. This poor desk. Okay, so we're gonna throw in some post layers on this chorus now, just to build it a tiny bit. I might send this back out to the quad, but like I'm thinking of doing something like, really messing around with it. Like if I send it to, okay, day 3. are almost there basically. Just need to do a few final bits I'm going to fly through now, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to use the QC Mini to send out like a little bit of audio, and then we can sort of like mess it up and see what happens with it. All right, so we've just thrown the headphones on because I've now got the QC routed out to be the interface. So we're gonna mess around with these little things that I had highlighted red. I really just want to like mangle what we've got here, which is... So what I'm gonna do is, originally it had like, which is like just basically, yeah, an octave and a fuzz. So I am gonna reamp, is that the word? But I'm gonna send this audio to the QC Mini, which is so sick. And I am gonna send it back. So what do I want? I feel like I want an overdrive. What does this sound like? Essentially what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to hit record. Okay, sick. So now that's gone through. Might just add a new octave on this. Okay, so now let's throw the new reverb on there, the Blossom one. All right, so let me record that. Yeah, sick. Okay, awesome. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching this week of Connor Composes. It's been an absolutely hectic one. This taking 3 days was not the plan. I thought I would be a little bit faster at writing music than I was, but it's absolutely fine. From this point, all I'm gonna do now is like add a little bit of embellishment. The meat and potatoes of everything is absolutely here, and now I'm gonna film me playing the final takes of those lead parts anyways on camera, because I'm gonna film a playthrough that's going to go on the Neural YouTube channel. So if you want to watch this song be played by me, go over there. I'm sure it should be up like either soon after this video or it's already up. But go and check it out if you want to watch this whole song unfold. But for those who just want to watch the Logic screen go by as we listen to it together, that's coming right up as well. All right, you're all legends. I'll see you all in the next one. See you in a bit.